So, we're going to talk about culture, and we're just going to have what I think is a really interesting conversation about culture and subcultures in particular. So, but my first question, I really would like to. It'd be nice if I could find someone in class who knows a little bit of ASL, American Sign Language, or who is studying it. Is there anybody? Especially a guy would be really nice. Is there anybody? Really, nobody? I'm really surprised. Anyone study it in your own country? Maybe not ASL? Like ISL, International Sign Language? Huh, really? Okay, awesome. Are we ready? We're ready. Hey, dude, you're on. So, and get a name tag from them. Yeah, they're going to go out here. Hey, can the volunteers come this way? I want to put you out. You're going to go out in the hallway here for a hot minute. Bro, you're going to get a name tag. Can you just tell her your name, and then we'll give you a name tag. Cooper. All right. Hey, so one of the things that I like about teaching this class is an opportunity to have lots of very different experiences. So we're going to have some very different experiences. Anyway, so I want to introduce you to two people, and why don't you come up, and yeah. So this is Maliha. She is in class, and this is Maliha's father. Wait, what's your father's name again? Hatem. This is Hatem. And the reason I asked Maliha, what's your father's name again, is because Hatem is deaf. And we are going to take a journey into deaf culture. And we're going to start out by having that journey because we're going to have a conversation with the three gentlemen who just left. And they're going to have a conversation with Hatem. And we're just going to observe. And so you understand something, that I was the faculty advisor to the Rutgers Disabled Student Association. You could sign this to your dad. Yeah. So I was the faculty advisor to the Rutgers Disabled Student Association. And in those 4 years, which didn't mean a lot. I don't know if I did a lot of advising, but I was old enough to buy the beer, so I bought the beer for our parties. But in those 4 years, I had a lot of experience with people with various levels of disability. And what I learned in those 4 years was that you cannot talk about disability culture in the way that you can't just talk about subcultures. You have to have experiences. And so I thought, okay, most of the experiences... Here, do you want me to hold that? Yeah. You want me to do it?
I think I got it. There we
You
go.
got it? Okay. See, that's the thing right there. I just realized that, wait, she has to sign with two hands. She's signing with one hand. That was very impressive, actually. What I learned is that most of the experiences that we have with subcultures happen really quickly. You don't have time to think about it and prepare for it and say, like, what should I do? How should I do it? And so that's why we're not going to give these three gentlemen any time to think about it. They're going to come out. They have no idea that they're going to start a conversation with him, and they have no idea that he can't hear them, that he's deaf. And so in the moment, they have to figure it out. In the same way that if Maliha and Hatem go to dinner tonight, and they order food. The waiter comes over to him to say, "Can I take your order?" And they start signing. In that moment, the waiter has to be like, "Whoa, hang on, what's happening here? What do I do? What am I supposed to do? What is the protocol? What is the etiquette?" There's no time to be thinking about it. You just do it. And so that's why it is that this is going to be a surprise to them, because they get to have the opportunity in the moment to make those decisions. Is that cool? Is everyone good? So everybody's comfortable. Nobody is stressed. We're all good. This is not a gotcha moment. This is an actual opportunity to have a role play. Because this, y'all, happens to Maliha and Hatem every day. That he meets people every day who have to figure out, who discover in the moment that he can't hear them. So this is not new for him. Okay? Are we good? All right, now. By the way, what did you just learn? Bro, what did you just learn right there? Yeah, this is clapping and yeah. So wait, can everybody do that? Just so he can see. Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. Dude. Yeah. Give him a mic. And you can hear okay? You're good?
Yeah, I can hear.
You're good? All right, so you won't need that. Yeah.
What's going on, Social 119?
Oh, dude, you just wait, my friend. Of course we had to have this guy.
Sam, I was waiting for this moment, and I got the text earlier today, and now we're finally here.
All right, so listen, my friends. This is... Gentlemen, wait, so it's Brad, Cooper, Olu, yeah? Maliha and Hatem. And Hatem is Maliha's father. And so what I want the three of you to do, we're going to have a conversation about subculture, and we're going to have a conversation really about Indian culture. And in particular, I want you to figure out from him what you need to know if you were to date his daughter, an young Indian woman, okay? So you have an opportunity to speak to an Indian father about dating his daughter, and who is an Indian American, and it's different culture, right? Subculture. So you all are, just. So it's just an opportunity, okay? So now one of you can start, and it'd be ideal if Brad didn't start, just because, whatever.
Well, how are you?
Everyone's expecting you to start.
How's it going? Wait, is this not conversation?
No. Hey, well, it is, but go ahead. So you can start with the question. But hang on, no, you don't start.
I was kind of.
No, you don't start.
Well, yeah. I was trying to break the ice. Like, I'm trying to date his daughter. So the first step is just, hey, like kind of warming him up, kind of, just shoot the shit with him, get to know him a little, and then bring in, his beautiful daughter into the picture, and then that's where I go and I ask.
All right, I got you. Yeah. But we're gonna start with Olu.
Hi, how are you? Hi. How's it going? How's your day?
No.
Now I get it. So he's not saying any words.
No.
Oh, I thought you were playing a prank or something.
No.
So you.
So wait, like he's not like a part of the conversation.
Oh, I figured it out. Sign language?
Yeah.
Sign language.
I'm not saying
the sign language. Sign language. Yeah.
Okay, wait. Is your mic on?
Yeah.
So.
Okay, you're good.
Is it?
All right.
Can you
Yeah.
hear
So
me?
you can.
I like games.
So you can now start interpreting, right?
Okay. Feel free to talk. Asking questions.
How's your day been?
That's good. Pretty good.
How old is your daughter?
How old? No, how old am I? Yeah, me. What do you think? How old do you think I am?
19, 20.
19.
19 years old.
Good guess.
Yeah. What is she passionate about?
Yeah. He's thinking. I'm interested in medicine. That's what I like, working with deaf communities, is what he's saying.
Speak a little louder. And somebody else, Cooper, you hop in, man. Wait, hang on. You keep moving over, dude. Yeah.
Don't be shy. He said, don't be shy.
He's shy. Cooper, you got a question? Yeah, is your mic on?
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
Yeah. That's the only thing I know. I'm dating his daughter, right? That's my goal, right?
No, well, okay.
I guess we got to get to know her.
Where do you guys come from?
Where are you from? Yeah. He's from another country. He's from Pakistan.
From Pakistan, and your daughter is from...
I'm from America.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Hang on. Wait, I have a question. You're from Pakistan. He's from Pakistan.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought India.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's another thing. He's not Indian, but like, it's at this point, they
Okay.
look the same. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Well, I'm from China, and I went to Pakistan twice. It's a beautiful country. I like your food.
I said thank you. Do you like spicy food?
I can eat a little bit spicy food, but like not like too spicy, because where I'm from, my city doesn't eat spicy food.
Where in China are you from?
Xiamen. Xiamen.
Spell it for me.
It has a Chinese name and a Dutch name. So I don't know. M1, it's a Dutch name. Xiamen spells as Xiamen. It's 30 minutes away from Taiwanese territory.
30 minutes from, sorry. Can you repeat that for me?
It's 30 minutes away from Taiwanese territory. Not the island of Taiwan, but Taiwanese territory.
So cool.
Oh, so what part of Pakistan are you guys from?
I'm not from Pakistan.
Oh yeah, sorry, your dad. Where's he from?
Karachi.
I think that's where my best friend in high school was also from Karachi, actually.
So that's cool.
Yeah, big fan of his mom's cooking. I'm Nigerian, so like we would both go to each other's houses and like have spicy food together, so to see like who could like bear it more. And like I usually won though, so it was good time.
So that's good. He said he has many deaf friends from Nigeria. We went to school with them. Yeah, deaf. They used to play soccer together. Him and his deaf Nigerian friends. He was like, they're very fun.
Okay, your dad plays soccer?
Yeah.
Oh, what position? What position?
Front striker, if that makes any sense. Sorry, I don't watch soccer. French.
No, strikers. Yeah,
Okay,
striker.
then
yeah,
striker.
Yeah, that's cool.
He loved soccer growing up until college,
Okay.
and then he stopped playing in college.
Oh, okay. What college did he go to?
Gallaudet University. It's the only deaf university in the world it's the only deaf university in the world that offers undergrad, master's programs, and PhD programs.
Oh, okay. So that's what I'm guessing he did in medicine.
Physics and engineering.
Oh shit. That's really good. Yeah.
You interested in physics?
Oh, I'm a mechanical engineering major, so I just like really relate to that. Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah. So wait, what was it like studying engineering from like a deaf perspective, if you don't mind me asking?
What do you mean?
Okay, so I feel like there's a certain like auditory notion that professors have to carry in order to get like an engineering perspective across.
He said you don't really need to listen. It's not true. It's a myth. So.
Well.
Deaf people are a lot better than hearing people at visualization and stuff, so it makes it a lot easier when doing labs and things to visualize it rather than listen and kind of comprehend.
Okay, so that's really cool. So if you don't mind me asking, has he always been deaf, or?
He's been deaf since he was like 1, but he was born hearing, got sick at 2, and then that took out his ears. Spinal meningitis. If any of you guys have ever heard of that, it damages your eardrums and your nerve endings. And back in the 70s, you don't have amazing medicine in Pakistan, so he could speak until he was 2, but then after that, it kind of wiped out everything.
So what about your mom? Is she also deaf, or I'm hearing?
My mom was born deaf because of rubella. It's like in the 60s, 70s, it caused my mom to become deaf because my grandma ended up catching it while she was pregnant. But my mom can speak pretty well. It doesn't mean all deaf people can speak well. It's a range, it varies. So I hope you guys understand that some people can speak, some people can't speak. Like I can't speak. A lot of people sign only.
Okay, so how did him and your mom meet?
So that's a good question. We met in college. It's the same as everyone. We met at college. Do you want to keep going?
Does your daughter go here?
Yeah, I've been here since freshman year. I would hope that I go here, otherwise this class would be
She's
something
in this
else.
class, too.
Yeah.
So
Wait, so you're
She's a student in
I'm a
class.
student here. I'm in this class, yeah.
okay, never mind.
Listen, but listen, Brad. But now you gotta now jump in. You gotta score a date with his daughter. So you know.
I was getting there.
Oh, you were getting there. Oh, all right. Hey, he's gonna beat you to it. All right, Olu.
No, you keep rocking,
All right,
Olu.
keep going,
keep rocking.
Olu. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Okay, go
They
ahead.
have to shoot also. They have to shoot.
Really good.
All right.
They have to shoot also.
This is gonna be like the dating game, you know, and he's gonna pick out.
Okay. Are y'all gonna ask any more questions? You gonna leave us here in silence?
I thought you want to go.
I thought you were
I
rocking.
thought you were getting it.
No, I said you guys could go.
Okay, so all right, how are you? My name is Brad Kraut from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. I'm a current senior here at Penn State, studying public relations. I'm just, I think it's awesome that you guys are here. So what has kind of been like growing up? While he's deaf, can't really hear. Has that affected you in any way, or any just growing up in general? How have you adapted?
It's more of a question for me, but like growing up, this was my normal. It's very normal for me. Like adapting is not the right word because I never had to adapt because I would come home and that was my life. Now, it's a cool skill to have and all of my hearing friends would think it's cool, but it never bothered me or impacted me growing up because this was my life.
Normal.
This is my life. The same way your normal is your normal and your guys' normals are your normals. This was my normal. So as a kid, I never saw anything different. I never understood anything different because he was my dad, and him being deaf didn't change anything. I'm very, very appreciative of him and how he raised me because he's just my dad.
Yeah.
That's all there is. Like,
100%. What did you play any sports while growing up?
did you play sports? Yeah, soccer.
Just
Played
soccer?
Yeah.
And
Do you play sports?
no, I don't. I played football, my whole life, and then obviously I wanted to play at a big university, but I'm 5'6". It just wasn't gonna work out for me. So I decided to go to a big university like Penn State to just try to create a lot of opportunity for myself.
He says you look like a weightlifter, like a big gym bro.
So hey, fitness has been a part of my life. Ever since 7th grade, that's when I first got under the squat rack, actually, and ever since then, what was that? What did he say?
He said, "I'm jealous of you."
Oh, you don't weight train?
He used to. He used to be a bodybuilder.
Oh, you were competing on state? Let me see a front double bi. Let me see a front double bicep. Let me see a front double bicep. Let's see it. Let's do a lat spread together. Let's do a lat spread together up here. Come on, let's do a lat spread. Yeah, there we go. Ready? Yeah. There it is. There you go. Spread them out. There you go.
Dude.
Cool.
That's awesome. That's very cool that you did. I've never competed yet, but I do plan on one day definitely stepping on stage to compete.
Alright. Question for you guys. When you meet any... Can you do that again? Coming in from the back room to here, were you shocked to see that he was deaf? Did you feel awkward? Like, how was it starting a conversation? Like, where's your comfortability level at?
Yeah.
I'm Nigerian, and I moved to the U.S. in 2015. I lived in Amsterdam for a year, actually. But back in Nigeria, my grandfather is also I don't know what's how hard of hearing he is, but he is hard of hearing. So there's a bit of comfortability. So he has an aide, so who signs and stuff. So I don't speak any sign language, but yeah, so I do have a level of comfortability with it.
For me, I don't feel like there's any difference to me because I have some relatives that they don't speak Mandarin. And me personally, sometimes it's hard to communicate with them because we mainly communicate with Hokkien, which is Taiwanese. And back in the time when I was young, I don't speak that well. So we usually just do not proper sign language, but I'll just do hand gestures. Yeah.
Using your body language instead of speaking sign language is still better than nothing. At least you're using your body language to communicate. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like sleep. It's simple.
Yeah.
Eating. House.
I try to learn sign language. That's why I know this. And thank you is this.
So through my experiences, I haven't really been around anyone deaf. So like when I came out, started trying to talk and figure it out, I was kind of thrown off a little. But obviously, that is what it is, and I figured it out, and now I have your daughter here, sign language into you, everything that I'm saying, and now we can rock and have conversation. But at first, I was thrown off a little. I was like, what's going on? Like, is he not talking? I'm confused. And then now we're all squared away.
So one thing to be clear, I said this to the class before you came out, that I wanted my experience with these kinds of interactions are that they happen very quickly. And so I'm at a restaurant or I'm walking down the street and I encounter somebody who just forces me to actually think about something differently. And so like they go to a restaurant and they order food, and suddenly the waiter or the waitress has to adjust very quickly. And if the waiter or waitress has not had experiences adjusting, then it can really get thrown off. So I wanted the three of you to have that opportunity to have to adjust in the moment. So that's why I explained that to the class, and it's not like a gotcha thing, Okay, so now, maybe it's a very cool conversation. I'm really happy. I'm really curious myself about Pakistani daughters. I'm really wondering what he thinks about. So I really want you to go into that conversation. Yeah.
So what is it like having a Pakistani daughter? Let's leave it at that. Like
what do we need to know? How about that?
Yeah, what do we need to know about
Here,
a Pakistani,
I
guess a Pakistani woman?
Okay, that's good.
Like, what is it like compared to your typical American woman? Is that tough? Was that tough? Was that too tough?
Just your wording of it was very funny.
We'll get better at that, but you gotta start somewhere.
If you date my daughter, you have to understand that she's a coda, that she's a child of a deaf adult, meaning that I'm deaf, and you have to communicate with me and my daughter, plus with, he wants to know how you guys would be comfortable dating me, knowing that, he's deaf. Would you guys, what would you do with parents that, couldn't hear, or, in-laws that couldn't hear?
I feel like I would try to, start learning sign language. If I'm truly in love with your daughter and I want to make it, I want to be able to kind of learn the sign language. I think that would be really cool and something different. But yeah, that's kind of my answer for that.
So, what do you and your daughter like to do together?
Yeah. We like talking, we like going out, having fun, hiking and stuff. Spending time together, mostly. Bro, I lost you. Go back. He's lucky to have two daughters that are a bridge, essentially, to the hearing and the deaf world, because it means he can experience things. And still, he can experience things in both sides of that, because we can connect them. He said, if you guys date me, you guys have to understand that the hearing world isn't the central world, and that the deaf world is a very big part of my life, his life. And he just wants you guys to look at deaf people like they're human.
Hey.
The only difference is that they communicate differently. Yeah. So
that's really cool. Like you said, he does a lot of work with the deaf community. What would you say is what his biggest part, or the thing he enjoys the most?
He enjoys being able to just hold a conversation with no differences, because in the deaf community, everyone's equal. The same like as you, where you're from Nigeria and then you speak English, and then you can go to a different culture, and then here it's a different culture, but you still manage to keep your like Nigerian culture intact. Like he can go and have a conversation with anyone and like have that solidarity of a deaf culture, if that makes any sense.
That's like really cool. So if you don't mind me asking, let's say you're communicating with relatives who are from Pakistan and like they only speak Urdu. How does that conversation work?
We don't. We don't talk to people from. He didn't grow up in Pakistan, to be fair.
Oh, okay.
He grew up in the States.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he went to St. Rita's in Ohio, which is a deaf school.
Oh, okay. I know.
Yeah. So like, not a lot of our relatives don't live in Pakistan, so they don't speak Urdu around us ever.
Okay. Nice. So, what would you say is like your daughter's like the ideal man for you? What would he say is that answer?
A good person that understands and respects me and my culture and the communication differences, and just as long as you communicate somehow, even if you can't learn sign language, just learn how to communicate, and then like finding people who are like good like that. That's his main thing for me, at least.
Well, like to me, like people with like they communicate with sign language, like makes no difference to me. It's just another language to me. It's like somebody speak Chinese, you speak, I don't know what language.
Yoruba.
Okay, and like somebody speaks sign language, it makes no difference to me. If like I go to America without knowing English, I cannot communicate at all, right? So like it's the same thing. I either learn sign language or like I write it down, or like, you know, it's like, yeah. I have a question, if you don't mind me to ask. So, like growing up, like she growing up, like being a father that is not able to speak. I can only imagine how hard it is. What's the experience back then? Like, was it like hard? Was it?
He said it wasn't difficult.
It wasn't.
No, like you're asking raising like me and my sister. No, me and Smiha, not you. Yes.
Yes.
He doesn't see anything different. Like we grew up normally. We went to hearing school. We would come back home and we would still have deaf culture. Like we would learn both languages. And he taught us bilingually, so we would learn fast. So we learned how to sign before we learned how to speak. And then, you know how babies learn signs first, and then later they speak? It's true as for anyone. And so we would have fun, go out, play. And at school, we had a lot of codas in our area, like where we lived. And so there was a lot of support groups and a lot of deaf parents there. And kids would come and we would have fun, and there was no difference. It looked like a normal family. And like, he said, same with you guys, where it's like you learn two different cultures. At that transition point, like, it's not that difficult. Brad, where are you from specifically?
30 minutes from Philly. Bucks County, PA.
What's your background?
I'm Jewish. I think I'm like Polish and Jewish. I'm Jewish.
Are you in a community that's Jewish and like Polish heavy, or like do you interact with that a lot?
I would say no. I'm more culturally Jewish. So, like, obviously, my parents raised me Jewish. When I was younger, I went to a Jewish, not elementary school, like a preschool. And then leading up to my bar mitzvah, I had, I was always, going to synagogue, whatever, maybe Fridays, I would go to Sunday school. And then after my bar mitzvah, I stopped going. And so like for now, like from here on out, I'm kind of just culturally Jewish. I'll go to synagogue on like the holiest holidays. Then obviously my parents want me to raise my kids, the way that they raised me as well. So.
He said same. I raised my kids to keep the culture. Pakistani, my wife's Bangladeshi. And so like he wanted to raise us with keeping that culture as well as the deaf hearing.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you never like force your kids like, hey, after your big community, what do you guys have? Like, what's your celebration or?
Well, we're Muslim, so there's not like a big.
So, like,
thing.
At what point did you kind of like stop doing the culture, like, and you where it was more so you like had to do it, or it was like a big holiday?
We learn by traditions and by watching and looking at people, and so like he never forced us, but we learned how to be open-minded and to think about different communities and look at a lens that's unbiased, because we have so many friends that have different backgrounds, and so it's important to be open-minded at the same time while keeping your practice. So like we may be Muslim, but that doesn't mean I'm not open to understanding Judaism or like Catholicism, like Christianity. Like it's about being open-minded. He grew up in a deaf Jesuit school, Catholic school, and so he's still Muslim himself, but like once again, being open-minded.
And then what about like raising your daughter? How, like, did you kind of let your daughters go and do what they want to do, or did you have them on a leash? Not like not an actual, like, did you have them like close to you, or like were you overprotective? Kind of walk me through that.
We're close and we communicate, and the most important thing is communication to have a better relationship, because if you leave it alone and then you have a disconnect, just love and communication. So that's how he usually treated us, was just openly talking.
And then how do you feel, having your daughter like at a university like Penn State? How's your experience been so far?
You said that's a good question.
Yeah. Well, let's hear it.
First off, I'm the oldest one. He has a second kid, also Coda. She's a senior in high school. When I decided to go to school far from home, he expected it'll be difficult because the relationship disconnect, because I'm hearing, and he hopes that I continue to maintain deaf culture and that like our family unit manages to stay intact. And yeah, sometimes we disconnected and he let it go. He always reasoned with himself that as far the ways we live, and because he lived in the United States and his parents were in Pakistan at the time, so like he understands how it feels and how education's important. And so he was like, okay, I'll let you go, and I enjoy myself here. So.
What are your thoughts on the education system?
Wait, hang on. That's broad. So great questions, by the way. You all. No, you all are asking some really awesome questions.
I want to hear.
Do you? Wait, before we go to that, though, Cooper, Olu, do you have another question?
Yeah. So, how would you say you had to accumulate when she went to school? So, like, let's say were there any certain things that became difficult and you had to make an adjustment when she went away?
No. No, but expand. What do you mean?
I don't know,
Is it
maybe
like talking to like administration on campus, or
it could be something like that. Just let's say like something that maybe both of you just always did that was a part of your daily life together, and then when you went away, it was just like, oh, like I need to find another way to do this. Something that had just become so normal, it became like abnormal in the moment.
Yeah. Every time I go home from work, I always used to meet him at the door, but now I don't do that.
Aww.
And now, thanks to the wonders of technology, FaceTime, like video chatting online, it's easy. I can just FaceTime him and we can be, hey, how are you? Like, and still stay connected like that.
So when you FaceTime,
That's really nice.
so when you FaceTime, you have to set your phone down because you need both hands, right? Yeah. So that's interesting. So it's a different experience for your daughter, for
also,
you.
like phone calls, like I never used to get phone calls.
Yeah.
So like FaceTime is really normal for me, but phone calls, when people call me on the phone, I'll be like, who is this? Because I'm used to people FaceTiming me. And most codas use FaceTime, and they never text because face-to-face is just so much easier. Like I barely ever text him, but when I do, it's mostly because I need it in writing for proof later because I know he'll forget. But like we FaceTime because it's easier to communicate.
And the two of you have a slang that you speak, right?
Like technically, kind of.
No, but how common is it for people in a family to have a slang?
It's common. There's a lot.
Can you give us an example of a way you sign that maybe other people don't sign? Do you have something?
Yeah, like for us, like example of us too. It's used to say blueberries. My sister used to say blueberries like this, which is just the sign for yummy, but because she associated saying the word, like thinking things were yummy with the word blueberries or like the fruit blueberries, she would ask for blueberries like this. Except the real sign is, what's the real sign? Yeah, you just spell it, so blueberries. Like, but she used to say blueberries like that, or like, she used to mix up flower and home, so like flower is this, but she used to say flower like this, which is home. And so like things like that, but they become so normal that we just kind of understand it. We're like, okay. So like my sister could say flower, or she'll say home like this, and I'll be like, oh, she's going home. But other deaf people wouldn't understand what she means when she says home like this.
So that goes to what one of you was saying, like it's another language, right? Cooper, I think you were saying it. So so I want to open it up too, to see if, do you have any more questions?
Yeah, I have one question, which is, what's the thing that you concern the most? Or let's say, what's the thing that is most important to you in your life?
Just having a good life and having everyone be equal with each other. That's it. No differences. Because when I meet all of you, you guys look like a person. You may be from a different culture, but we're all equal. We're the same. And I know a lot of people feel like meeting me is like confusing, but learning to adapt and then having a conversation can be one of the best things ever.
Is it more like a situation here in the United States or in Pakistan? Like people just like treating you differently?
Yeah, like there's a difference. Like in Pakistan, it's different. There's a different education system there and different education, so they're not comfortable with deaf people or the deaf community like they are here in the U.S. It's very advanced here for deaf culture and having deaf rights and deaf laws and like all of this. We're improving here, but in Pakistan, they're still pretty far behind. So that's why he came here, for a better education.
There's your education question. Do you speak Dari?
What?
Does he speak Dari? See, so I want to put this out. It's interesting, right? So here, I can't speak to your father. I can't look at your father because your father has to look at you. And so it's a very interesting triangle conversation. Yeah.
But he said it's normally us two having a conversation where so I would be standing right next to you instead of so that way he could look at both of us so it's not awkward in a triangle. So
you would sit. Why don't you ask him? You sit here, and Brad, you sit over there. See how. Yeah, it's better. Yeah. Because you can't see her then.
You would have to be here.
I have to be here.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
then,
yeah.
So now you can look. So now you can look at each other and then still have me in the periphery.
Yeah. Okay. So
if he was speaking to him, then I would stand right next to him, and then.
So you would be you're a participant interpreter right now.
Yeah.
And you would be a just an interpreter. Yeah. Does anyone know any ASL that you want to just try out your ASL? You got to have somebody who studied it in high school or something. Anybody? Nobody? Really? I'm so surprised because it's so common nowadays. Wow. Okay.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
So I learned English when I was probably 2, I might have said, or 1. When I probably said my first word. When did you start learning, or when did you start teaching sign language to your daughters? At what age were they? And then what about the English aspect? And then what about the English aspect to it as well? So it was like you had to teach 2 languages right off the rip.
So first was school. That's what he was saying. For English I went to school for that. But for sign language, there's no other way for them to communicate with us, so he just signed with us right off the bat.
So what was that process like, or how did that look? Because as a baby, you can't really comprehend anything, and then
Basic signs that you learn to make associations with, that's milk.
And then would you show a picture of the milk?
Yeah. So he would hold the milk
It would
bottle.
be visuals.
He would hold the milk bottle, and then he would do milk. Objects. He would hold the object. He would hold the tea bottle.
And then
he would, in this case, milk bottle, and he would be milk. So we would learn to make associations with
But how did you know that was milk?
Visual association. So when you look
No,
at
so when you're 3, how did you know, or 2, or whatever age it was, how did you know that was milk?
As opposed to orange juice or something.
Orange juice, or how did you even know the word milk?
Well, this goes back to the signs where kids mix up associations. My sister saying blueberry is this because she associated with that. So for me, learning milk, I could have. I need to stop doing that. I could have said milk could have been anything, And then as soon as I got older, like I learned as I was growing up, then I started to learn what the real like thing was. Like, so milk, he would hold a bottle of milk, and then I would start making that association to the bottle of milk.
Wait, is this milk because it's like milking a cow?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Which is interesting because this is a sign. American Sign Language is old, so this is when everybody milked cows. Because when I was a kid, I used to milk cows on my sister's farm. So yeah, so I would immediately know that that's what that is. Yeah. Yeah.
So wait, if you don't
You have
mind
a
me
question?
asking-
Wait. Wait, hang on 1 second. Wait.
It's like similar to what you asked, but at home, did you first learn to speak English or sign language? Like for you?
I personally, I think I first learned sign. I was a lot better at sign than I was at English.
And at English, did you learn it like later at school or also with someone else?
Sometime. Okay, so like, and school. School was later, but there were, like, I just, basic numbers, words, and signs, like, I'm talking about English. Yeah, from school, but also, yeah, they used to teach us with English books, too. Like, they would point out words and hope that we would learn, but we would watch a lot of TV with closed captions. And so we would make those associations with the words to the captioning.
Yeah, very cool.
What's like the relationship between you and your sister? Like, do you guys speak more, sign more, or do both at the same time?
For me and my sister, it kind of depends. She's like, we're both hearing, so it doesn't matter. But sometimes, like,
If you want to say something and nobody else to realize, like that's everything.
I do that a lot of
Yeah.
time. When people start talking and I'm like, did you see that? To Samia. Like, or like I'll recognize a lot of deaf people in like outside, and they'll start signing, and like my sister and I will like look and be like, what did they just say? Like, or like it's easy to pick up like other people signing, but we just talk. Normally we just talk. But sometimes in like when we go out, we'll sign if we don't want people to understand what we're saying.
Okay, that's cool. So how would you say like it's been like being a part of like the hearing community and like the deaf community, and then let's say like assisting someone who you find out is deaf when you're out or something like that?
I like being a bridge, because like I used to work in a restaurant and a lot of deaf people would come and I would be able to help them, and they got the service that they like needed because I could just sign, and they didn't need to write things down, they didn't need to struggle. Like I could talk to them and they could talk to me and it would be easy. But like balancing the two communities was easy for me because I had school as my hearing community, and then my family and my family friends and like all of their friends as my deaf community. So I was always in one or the other, and so it was pretty easy to balance.
Yo, it's
That's really
so
cool.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's just like that's just amazing. Cause, like, I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
imagine
because
that.
you are everything here. Everything you do, you are speaking and signing at the same time. You're speaking two languages. As you're talking, you're still signing. You know, it's like with you, like Spanish and English. You're only speaking one or the other. You know, you're not doing both at the same time.
So,
Yeah.
do you think that schools at a young age should also be offering or teaching sign language as well, or making it mandatory?
No, like all schools. It should be offered. Because it's easy to learn.
Mm. You know, about...
And Risha says learning signing before speaking, it has benefits for babies. It doesn't matter if they're deaf or hearing.
So approximately a little less than 1% of the world's population is deaf. Yeah.
Right, rather than me going to take like a Theater 100 class, I should be taking a sign language class.
You could be. Hey, we have a question. Yeah.
Hi, I have two questions, and the first question is like, is there a code of conduct to be a translator for the deaf culture? And the second question is like, if someone goes on and on, it seems that you're having you're talking simultaneously, right? Doing ASL in English, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Here, wait. Stand up. Actually,
me.
so we can see you on the camera.
I can't hear you.
Okay, so my first question is like, to be the translator for your dad, like, did you have to educate yourself like with the code of conduct? And the second question is,
Wait, hang on. Do that one first. That's a good question. So you understand that, right? Is there some kind of code of conduct for translators?
Yeah, there's a code, but interpreters. They just have to, it's like oh, okay. He's explaining that it's like you can't go like divulging the information of like a job, like or things like that. Like certain translators have to do that. Like in medicine, like medical translators, like they're not allowed to disclose information of deaf patients. They're just there to interpret, but they're not supposed to be telling other people. It's more of an ethics thing and a morality thing rather than like a specific code. But I personally didn't have to do that just because I am his child.
Okay, can I ask the second question? Okay, so since this class was like started saying like how to be mindful about like learning experiences, if someone, for example, like if I'm talking and like right now, if I go on and on about asking questions and like keep talking, is it the interpreter's responsibility to summarize, or is it like how can I be mindful as a speaker?
Oh, got it.
Because you're talking simultaneously, so if you just keep translating, then
The person who's signing and knows complete ASL, like they interpret, they have to perceive what they're saying and then interpret it in a way. So when a hearing person speaking English and they translate it to ASL for the deaf person, the interpreter's responsibility is to translate it as directly as possible. Not word by word, but like in a way that makes it easy to keep up with the information.
Hey, I have a question too. How do you sign? What's the difference in signing between smoking a cigarette and smoking a joint?
I can answer this one.
You can answer that way?
This is a joint.
Well, then
because
you
it's
do it, and I
usually-
want to see if your dad knows what you're doing.
Yeah, it's two different ones. This is smoking like a cigarette, and this is a joint because you're holding it with the two fingers.
Dude, awesome. So that's a
It's different
universal.
meanings, it's different meanings.
Tell your dad he does that very naturally, by the way. Yeah. That's a universal sign then. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. You can stand too if you
All right.
speak
Sorry.
right into.
Yeah, I'm trying to. How would you? I had it and I lost it. Sorry. What would you say to the people who don't accommodate you, like they're actively ableist?
Like they actively don't try to communicate. Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah.
It depends. It depends on the person. If they feel awkward, then he starts writing on paper. And he'll just keep like writing until like they kind of understand it. Like, do you want to write? Like, we can have a conversation like that. And so they start writing, and then if they still feel awkward, then that's on them. But he has an app on his phone where you can just text, like, it's kind of like note cards. It's like your notes app, but it's called Buzz Cards, and it basically makes the lettering really big, so it's easy to read. But, like, yeah. So, like, that's how he tries to communicate, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. All right. Cool.
and so he'll text. But, like, what do you do?
By the way, I
if
just want to
they're
give a
not-
shout out to our camera operator. This is the first time she ever sat behind a camera. That was pretty impressive. All right, dude, you're on, man.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if he can read lips, like. Yes, my iWatch
No,
answered it for me, but.
just no. That simple no. He doesn't depend on the breeding, but other people do. I don't.
Can he explain the difference in language? There are many different languages. There are 200 plus sign languages. So
There's so many.
yeah.
There's many different ones. The same way you guys have different spoken languages, like Korean, Chinese, Spanish. Like, there's so many. They even have accents. So, like, many different people will sign differently. Like, early, that's early in American Sign Language. And or on the East Coast. On some Western states, they do it the opposite way. So early goes in the opposite direction instead of. And some say early like that. It's a lot of different signs mean the same thing, and with an accent. So, I don't know. Yeah. British Sign Language is very different. It's more essential for them to use their two hands with lettering. Like A, E, I, O, U, like our vowels. A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. Those are your vowels. So, or like B. Oh, so this is the letter B in BSL. Or like C. But in ASL, we just spell it out. And like, I'm sure you guys have seen this, but like A, B, C, D. Like, there are a lot of differences.
Here's a question.
So I have two questions which are kind of connected, and they're somewhat stupid, actually. So do you have an idea of how your voice sounds like? And the second is, when you think to yourself, when you have your thoughts, do you have a voice attached to your inner thoughts?
Oh, dude, those are brilliant questions, man.
He recognizes words. He doesn't depend on his earrings, so his eyes kind of take in everything. But, like, what do you see in your head? Pictures. I see pictures, signs, words. Like, I don't have a voice in my head. I'm very visual. When you read words and you kind of read it in your head, he changes his, and you have your inner monologue in your head, he changes that into sign language in his head. He relies really heavily on his eyes. Have you heard your voice before? Do you want to know what your voice sounds like? And he has no interest he barely remembers becoming deaf, so he has no interest in what his voice sounds like or remembers what it sounds like.
Here's Brad. Let me do a question up here, and then we'll go to you, Brad.
Hi. So, are most of your friends deaf, and like, do you live in an area that has like a large deaf community?
Yeah, it happens to be where I live. We have a large deaf community. And some other cities don't have as large of a community as we do, but yeah.
So you live
Where
near
are you guys from?
Gallaudet University, right?
I'm sorry?
Do you live near, is it Gallaudet?
We live about like 45 minutes to an hour from Gallaudet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about an hour.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Brad, you're on.
Yeah.
Have you had any incidents if you're driving or walking and you get distracted? We're human. You're texting or whatever, and then someone's like honking or someone is like trying to say like, "Yo, like watch out," and then like they don't realize that you can't hear them. Like, have you had any incidents of someone like hitting you or like going like, "Yo, bro, like watch out"? Like a misunderstanding.
Dude, that's a cool question. Yeah, that's a very cool question.
Yeah. I mean, we can't hear outside, like the environment. But we're more alert because of it. We look at everything instead of a hearing person, because a hearing person can text and like listen for things. But like, while a deaf person has to be looking at everything in order to figure out their environment. So like while driving and stuff, like we rely on our eyes so much that which is a true fact apparently, that deaf people pay attention more than hearing people do when it comes to stuff like that. So like, yes, there have been misunderstandings, but like they're better at handling it. Like for example, an ambulance. He gets a weird like intuition and like you can see the flashing lights and he's like, oh, and then he can recognize it quick enough to get like an ambulance, like out of the way for an ambulance, rather than relying on the sirens itself.
But like in your world, like do you have like a gesture or like hand gesture or any sign to like caught your attention? Because like if you're not looking at me, the communication channel is closed, right? Like you have to look at me to communicate.
I mean, we just go like this.
Oh,
like
okay.
yeah, we'll be like that. Like, yeah. Because you feel the vibrations of things.
So you do feel.
Because you're more sensitive to because you've lost a sense, you're more sensitive to everything else. So you're sensitive to vibrations too. So if someone drops something, they can automatically pinpoint where it is.
So wait, if you don't mind me asking, what are parties like for him? So like, I've seen like something about like deaf people relying on like vibrations. So how does he like? What's that experience like?
Loud, bass-heavy music, like extremely bass-heavy.
Wait.
It's not soft and it's blaring.
Wait, hang on one second. Hey, we have 2 minutes left and we got to make sure we have a really nice final ending. So we have a really fast question. Let's see if you can answer it quickly, because this is a very cool question actually.
This kind of goes off of what they were talking about, but what would you say like your biggest danger is not being able to hear?
Thanks.
Simply not being able to hear the background. Like, if a gun was fired, he wouldn't be able to hear it, and so like that's dangerous. So like, say a gun was fired in his direction, he'd have no way of knowing until it was like too late because he couldn't hear where it was coming from.
So we have a minute left. I want to, first off, can we do a round of applause? Yeah, thanks. That's awesome. Yeah, thank you. Also, can we just I want to really thank thank you for coming and having this just amazing educational opportunity. Yeah. Yeah.
So I hope you guys enjoyed learning.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Hey, if anybody wants to, if anyone has any other questions, feel free to come down front.